bar graph, bar graph, bar graph, analyzing bar graphs. Hi guys, my fellow mathematicians, are you ready to roll? Oh yeah. Are you ready to rock? Oh yeah. All right. Welcome back, guys. We're right here at the end of this school year, and you guys have all been amazing throughout this virtual learning. So this week is going to be fun. It's our last week of new material. I know you're going to rock this math. We are going to be analyzing and interpreting bar graphs and pictographs. We've separated the two, so you'll have to watch a few videos to kind of go through and practice these skills with us. So hold on tight. It's going to be a fun week of a lot of graphing. So this first part of this week, we're going to be talking about interpreting and analyzing bar graphs. So at the end of this week, you're going to be able to interpret, analyze bar graphs. What does that mean? You're going to be able to look at a graph and analyze it, answer questions about it. You're going to know what that data means. So let's just review. What is a bar graph? So a bar graph uses bars that are not connected to show data that was collected. Now in this graph that's on your screen, you will see a title, sit-ups in 1 minute, and that's telling me that this whole graph is about how different people and how many sit-ups they did in 1 minute. So on your vertical axis, you have the number of sit-ups that each person did. On the horizontal axis, you have the people's name, and the bar that goes up, that is vertical, tells us how many sit-ups they did in each minute. So as we go throughout this, you're going to learn how to answer questions about a graph that you are shown. So let's look at the first one. I have a graph. Its title is drinks sold, and it gives me the number of sold drinks, and it also tells me the types of drinks. So I have a question right here above my head, and it says, how many people bought juice and water? So when I look at this question, now I'm going to show you on my whiteboard here, we're going to have to do some math problems to figure out what this answer is. So I'm going to figure out how I can solve this, and I'm going to look, first of all, I have to look at my graph. Well, if I look at my juice category, it looks like juice, they sold 30 drinks that were juice. So I'm going to do 30. And water. So then I'm going to look at water, and it looks like water is kind of right there at the 20 mark. Okay. Whoops. Is right at the 20 mark. So I'm going to add 30 and 20 together to know that 50 people bought juice and water. Okay, so I wanted to know how many bought both of those. So I'm going to add those two together. All right, so let's look at our next question. What's the difference in drinks sold between cola and juice? Well, if it's wanting to know the difference, it wants to know, we're going to want to subtract because we want to find the difference. And remember, difference wants you to subtract. So between cola and juice. So if I look at cola, I have 35. So on my whiteboard now, because I'm going to solve these math problems out. Who knew you'd do some math problems with looking at a graph? All right. So I have 35 cola drinks that were sold, and I had 30 juice drinks sold. Well, we said we were going to subtract, okay? So if I want to know what's the difference, I'm going to say there's a 5 drink difference. There were 5 more colas sold than juice. So the difference between the two would be 5 drinks sold. Which drink was purchased the most? Now at this question, I can just look at my graph here and I can figure that out. Well, let's see which drink was figured the most, or which drink was purchased the most. So if I look, I'm going to look for the bar that's the highest because it's the most. So if I look, oh, here, milk has the most. Okay, and I would say milk has probably about 41 or 42 because if you look at my scale, the numbers are going by tens, but there's a line in between. So what's halfway between 0 and 10? 5. So this would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. So it's less than 45, but a little bit more than 40. I would say about 41 or 42 drinks they sold of milk. So milk definitely was the most. Which drink was purchased the least? Well, let's look. Water was purchased the least, and it's right here at this 20 mark. So we would say about 20 drinks were sold that were water, and that's the least amount. Now it's your turn. Let's practice. What I want you to do is there are some questions, and you're going to be answering some questions about the graphs that you see. So, how many liked classical and rock music? Pick your answer. All right. How many liked classical and rock music? Well, let's see if you got your answer correct. Classical and rock music. Well, classical, there were 40 people that liked classical, and there were 35 that liked rock music. So 40 plus 35 would be 75 people. All right, let's look at your next question. What's the difference between those who liked hip hop and those who liked classical? Pick your answer. All right, let's see what you did. If we want to know the difference, remember we want to subtract. So if I want to know the difference between those who liked hip hop and those who liked classical, well, hip hop had 60 people, and classical, if I look on my graph, classical had 40. So I'm going to subtract because I want to find the difference. So the difference was 20 people. Which type of music is liked the most? Hope you picked jazz, because if you look at the bars, jazz has the highest number of votes. Which type of music is liked the least? Hope you picked rock, because if you look at the bars, rock has the least, rolling in there at 35 votes. So, way to go. I know you guys rocked this. If you have any questions, let us know.